Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Close to 80,000 expected here today for the Redskins and the Eagles. 19 of the last 22 games between these clubs decided by 7 points or less. And the Eagles have won 10 of the last 12, including a 17-12 victory at the Vet in October. Ryan Mitchell, back deep for the Redskins, returned the opening kickoff of the game in Arizona last week. 100 yards for a touchdown, but it was called back due to a Redskins penalty as Chris Connell gets things started. Mitchell will stay right there. A touchback, so the Redskins will start from their own 20-yard line, led by quarterback Trent Green in his 5th NFL season out of Indiana University. Trent making his 8th start of the season. He has not been picked off in the last 2 games. A shuffled offensive line. Rod Milstead starting at right guard. Troy Drake, a former Eagle, makes his first start of the season at right tackle. Skip Hicks for the injured Terry Allen, along with Stephen Davis. And Michael Westbrook returns after missing the last 2. And tight end Steven Alexander makes his first start. And on first down, Green makes the connection with Westbrook. Bobby Taylor made the tackle. So the Redskins go right to Michael Westbrook in his return. Redskins defensively ranked 11th in the National Football League. Hugh Douglas enjoying a tremendous year with 11 sacks. The linebacking core, Mike Caldwell replacing the injured James Darling. And in the secondary, Troy Vincent out today. Suffered a concussion last week, so Al Harris gets the start. 2nd and 2. First down and much more. Skip Hicks into Philadelphia Eagles territory. Bobby Taylor finally brought him down after a pickup of 28 yards.
The Redskins want to get this ball going on the ground, and Skip Hicks is a guy who models himself after Terrell Davis. He says he wants to be some of everything. Nice blocking up front. He sees the hole. He's got the size, and then he accelerates up through the middle of the defense. When a guy as big as Skip Hicks, you see 230 pounds right there, when he gets going in with those little guys in the secondary, you know he's going to keep going for 5 or 6 more.
Longest run of the season for Hicks. Play action pass is complete. So Green is now 2 for 2. Leslie Shepard brought down by Brian Dawkins. A couple of penalty markers on the play after the gain of 9.
When the first game of the season, when these two teams, not the first game, but the first time these two teams met, the Eagles played a very loose defense.
Personal foul against the Redskins, says referee Tony Correnti.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 69 offense. 15-yard penalty remains. First down.
That's Rod Milstead. His job today, for most part, is going to be to handle Hollis Thomas. Big, strong, bulky interior defensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles. A guy who's always been solid, but I think really over the past couple weeks has really picked up his game and played quite well. Really makes an impact. A big guy who can get upfield.
The penalty took place after the last play, so they marked it off 15 yards from where Shepard was taken down. And Green is now 3 of his first 3, second catch of the day for Westbrook.
Well, one thing we know, Michael Westbrook, all day we're going to see Westbrook versus Bobby Taylor. Bobby Taylor is the best cornerback that the Eagles have got. And so you see right here, Taylor feeling his way, playing with that soft cushion that we talked about that the Eagles did in game 1. Redskins able to capitalize on that and pick up a quick 5 yards.
Second down and 13. Hicks up the middle, works his way to the Eagles' 43-yard line. Brandon Whiting made the stop after a gain of 5.
You know, Skip Hicks is one of those guys. He's a young guy, and so he needs to gain experience. But we said he's got strength and he's got speed. We saw that on his first run today already. The other thing that he's got is he's got Terry Allen. And what Terry Allen can do is he can help a guy like Skip Hicks to come along. He can coach him. He's the kind of guy who shares his knowledge, shares his wisdom, and can really be crucial in Skip Hicks' development.
Hicks made his first start last week in Arizona, gained 64 yards. Steven Alexander, the tight end, stopped about 3 yards short of the first down marker by Tim McTire.
This is a play that the Redskins haven't run a lot of. You hear the crowd right now, they want him to go on 4th down. I think Norv is. But what it is, it's just a basic screen. So the offensive linemen block up front, then they release their guys, and then they set up a wall out here for some blocking. And it's a play that you normally use to soften the rush. First game against the Eagles had 6 sacks. So Norv Turner wants to have some plays today that are going to soften that Eagles pass rush.
Redskins going for it on 4th and 4 from the Eagles 37. Quick drop by Green, can't find anyone, and is taken down by Hollis Thomas, his 5th sack of the season. 3 of the 5 have come against the Redskins.
And this is a guy, again, big Hollis Thomas. When he gets that bulk moving up the center, it's tough to stop until he gets to the quarterback.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl.
Back in Washington, here's big Hollis Thomas right here working on Rod Milstead. What he does is he gets up underneath Milstead's pads. He just keeps going until he doesn't stop until he gets to the quarterback.
And now the Eagles start from their own 45-yard line. Deuce Staley into Redskins territory. Penalty markers on the play. And the Eagles may decline the penalty after the 10-yard gain by Staley.
And we talked about the Eagles getting that run game going last week. And, of course, Ray Rhodes saw Staley and Garner together last week come up with 219 yards on the ground. A lot of that, though, was the blocking up front. I mean, Garner and Staley were outstanding, but that offensive line took the challenge. They wanted to take over that game. They want to do the same thing again today.
There were 2 penalties, 1 on each side.
Offside, number 96 defense in the neutral zone at the snap. Holding on the offense. These penalties offset, replay, first down.
Bobby Hoying making his 6th start of the season at quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, who have scored only 89 points. Fewest amount of points in the NFL, averaging fewer than 10 per game. Hoying outstanding last week. The men protecting Bobby Hoying. Steve Everett in the middle. Charlie Garner along with Kevin Turner. This is Deuce Staley. It's 3 yards on the play. Leamon Evans made the stop for the Redskins, who have allowed 270 points, most in the NFL. And they are without Dana Stubblefield, the perennial All-Pro, and Mark Boutte. So Doug Brown makes his 3rd start. Derek Smith with Marcus Patton, the Redskins' leading tackler this season, and Ken Harvey. Darrell Green, the 7-time Pro Bowler, at the right corner. 2nd and 7, Jeff Graham in motion. Good shot by Hoying, and the pass complete to Graham in Redskins territory. Looks to have the first down. Chris Dishman on the stop after a gain of 8.
Bobby Hoying makes a nice play on this because what he sees is he sees man-to-man coverage. All right, watch Dishman. I want you to watch how he runs with Jeff Graham. So when Hoying sees that, he knows he's got man-to-man coverage, and he knows that initially Graham is going to be wide open because Dishman has to come all the way across the formation. So it's a nice mental decision by Hoying.
On first down from the Redskins 43, this is Staley once again. Picks up 1 yard. Derek Smith made the tackle.
I think what you're going to see a lot of today with the Redskins defense is an 8-man front. I think you're going to see Leamon Evans sneaking up towards that line of scrimmage. And then what that means is that Mike Nolan is counting on Darrell Green to be able to cover up Irving Fryer, and he's counting on Chris Dishman to be able to cover up Jeff Graham.
North Turner told us yesterday, Green is not just playing well, he's playing great. Play action on second down, Boyne to the outside, and the catch is made by the tight end, Jason Dunn. Only his 9th reception of the season, only the 13th by an Eagles tight end.
The thing that makes play action work is if the linebackers believe that you're running the ball. And if you're running the ball successfully, that run fake is going to draw the safeties and the linebackers toward the line of scrimmage. It's going to leave Jason Dunn wide open because Stanley Richard, the safety who had the coverage, is going up towards Deuce Staley. By the time he recovers, the ball's already there.
3rd down and 2. Two tight ends. Dunn in motion. And Staley is stopped. 2 yards shy of the first down. Ken Harvey was the first Redskin.
No, I know that Ken Harvey has been a disappointment to the Redskins because his pass rush productivity has dropped. And there's no doubt that it has. But one thing, I was talking with Norv Turner before the game. He was bemoaning Harvey's lack of productivity in the pass rush. I said, you know what, though? The one thing the guy is doing, and doing very well, is playing the run.
We saw the Redskins go for it on 4th down. Trent Green was sacked. Now the Eagles will go for it on 4th and 2.
Why not? I mean, neither team's got anything to lose.
Staley is stopped. Chris Dishman coming up from the left cornerback spot, putting the hit on Staley.
Looking for as a coach when you're 1-8 is a guy going above and beyond in a critical situation. Chris Dishman, cornerback with coverage on the outside, slipping to the inside to make a tackle on a run play. That's the kind of effort that tells you your guys have not laid down and died, even though your record is 1-8.
He certainly went above on that one. Another big hole, Skip Hicks, but a penalty flag in the offensive backfield. It's holding against the Redskins.
That one went right behind Troy Drake. The Redskins have struggled with injuries on that offensive line all season.
Number 70, offense. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
And that's Troy Drake. Now what Drake is, he's a big 6'7", 330 pound. He's a big physical guy, and I talked to Russ Grimm, the offensive line coach. There he is. What a character. Talked to him. He's not going to be shaving his goatee off. Talked to him before the game, and he said what Drake has is great physical size, presence. He's a tough guy, and he can run block. He'll be in there mauling. Mauled a little too hard on that last play.
Russ Grimm played with Matt Millen here in Washington. Russ still has his goatee.
That's right. No, he won't be shaving it off.
First and 20 for the Redskins. And Green's pass is caught on the far side by Leslie Shepard. Al Harris forced him out after a gain of 12 yards.
Well, this is a matchup that I think the Redskins, you're going to see them going to more today. Because Al Harris is kind of a last-minute replacement. He's a first-year player. He's with Tampa Bay's practice squad last season. He's replacing Troy Vincent. The Redskins didn't know that was going to happen until this morning when Vincent was on the inactive. So I think that they're going to see that the matchup between Leslie Shepard and Al Harris is one they can win.
Trent Green has completed his first 5 pass attempts. Second down and 8. Green now 5 of 6. He was looking for Shepard. Harris along with Michael Zordich on the coverage.
Well, one thing you have to realize is that, you know, they're going, I mean, the Leslie Shepard thing is something that they had success with on the last play, so they went right back to it. But on that play, Trent Green and Leslie Shepard were not in sync.
Norv Turner telling us yesterday, Trent Green has gotten better every week. He has good accuracy, a quick release.
He just doesn't have a real good deep ball because his arm is not the strongest.
3rd and 8, penalty markers. And Green is taken down. Bill Johnson, along with Al Wallace, the University of Maryland product. But this one may be against the Eagles.
That's the worst. Those sacks are so few and far between for a defensive lineman. You finally get back there, and one of your guys has jumped offside. I think it was Hollis Thomas.
Offside, number 53, defense in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
They're saying Hugh Douglas, who really has come on over the last 5 games and got his sack total up to 11. Here he is right here. You're going to see just a little bit of a jump. Hugh Douglas in there playing at the tackle position on a passing situation.
3rd down and 3 for the Redskins. Green to the near side, another penalty marker. Shepard looked to be out of bounds.
Yeah, I think that's going to be on Al Harris.
Shepard came down out of bounds.
Now they may pick it up because they may rule the ball was uncatchable because it was so far out of bounds. That's the reason for the discussion here among the officials.
Ray Rhodes, 5-2 lifetime against the Redskins.
The penalty stands. But did you see that? They're going right
Illegal
after Al Harris.
contact, number 31 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
One thing that Al Harris can do, he's a pretty good cover guy. He's a physical guy. You know, he has some tenacity, so he'll get up in your face and he'll bang you around. And you can't fault him for drawing a penalty like that, because right now he's just trying to establish who he is with Leslie Shepard. So he needs to be physical, and every cornerback in the league will tell you, hey, I'm going to take my chances. If I'm physical, I know I'm going to draw some flags from time to time.
So the Eagles had the Redskins in 3rd and 8, but 2 consecutive penalties give Washington a 1st down. Hicks into Philadelphia territory. What's going on in New Orleans? Let's check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Kenny, what's happening is Kerry Collins getting off on the right foot. 5 of 7 for 62 yards in this drive, including this strike to Cam Cleveland's first touchdown pass as a Saints starter. Collins off on the good foot. 7-0 Saints. We'll take it back to Kenny and Tim.
Thanks, JB. You know, that doesn't surprise me that Collins, after 3 weeks, could pick up that offense down there, because it is a simple offense, and Kerry Collins is a physically talented player.
So an early lead for the Saints. Play action. Green hit. Lost the football. Hugh Douglas made the hit. It's underneath the pile, and the Redskins have recovered.
Yeah. That's one thing Trent Green hasn't done, is turn the ball over, and that's one of the reasons why the Redskins have been able to have some success. I mean, they beat the Giants 2 weeks ago. They were in the game last week. But on this play here, Hugh Douglas, you're going to see him just coming right around the outside of Brad Badger. And you have to understand, Badger is a guard. And when you put a guard in a tackle position, you know, you're going to have this kind of play happen to you.
Sack number 12 on the season for Douglas. Lack of turnovers. Redskins have not turned it over the last 2 games. Lead over the top, has the completion for the 1st down. Albert Connell, who did not catch a pass in last week's game, this time gains 18 yards.
Well, this is the first zone blitz that the Eagles have run today, and it may be the last. Because what happens is you're going to see some of these linemen dropping out into coverage, and look how far they get. I mean, they only get about 5 yards back, and it's the lack of that underneath coverage that opens up the pattern for Connell.
Green now 6 of 7. He's down to 4 different receivers here in the 1st quarter. Hicks bottled up by the middle linebacker, James Willis.
One of the guys that the Redskins wanted to attack from an offensive standpoint was Mike Caldwell. He's in, here he is right here. He's replacing Darling out there at the left side. And they felt like, because he's relatively new to the Eagles defense, that if they could get some isolations with him covering the tight ends and the running backs, that they could take advantage of it.
Hicks lost the yard on the previous play. 2nd down and 11. Play action. Green stepped up, throws, and it's off the chest of the tight end. 2nd-round draft pick Steven Alexander. He was wrapped up by Mike Caldwell.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about. They're going right at Mike Caldwell. It's Steven Alexander's a second-round pick, a guy who can be a receiver. He's got good speed, and you see him coming down the middle here, and they're working Caldwell. Caldwell does a pretty nice job, though, but hey, Steven Alexander's got to catch this ball. You know, he's wide open, and the ball is thrown right into his midriff. He's got to pull that thing down. Won't be the last time Mike Caldwell sees Alexander coming at him today.
Alexander's first NFL start, replacing the injured Jamie Asher. 3rd and 11. Green dumps it off to Brian Mitchell, but Bobby Taylor was right there, forcing Mitchell back.
That's just great recognition by Bobby Taylor. Remember how we talked about Chris Dishman making the big 4th down play, a cornerback coming in on a run play? Same type of thing here for Bobby Taylor. He's a cornerback. He's worried about coverage. He sniffs out that screen and comes up and makes a play like a linebacker. And here's Taylor. He's all the way out here. He's got coverage, you know, but he senses this thing right away and comes up and makes his play. No one blocks him because no one presumes that a cornerback is going to be making a play on a screen.
Matt Turk, who leads the NFL in net punting average. Did it cross the goal line? Yes. It did. So the Eagles will start from their own 20-yard line. Matt using some body language to try and keep it on the playing field. Back in Raljohn, Maryland, Kenny Albert along with Tim Green. Late first quarter, both teams stopped on 4th down plays on their initial drives, and now the Eagles begin from their own 20-yard line. Philadelphia with a record of 2-7. Victories over the Redskins and the Detroit Lions last week by a 10-9 score. Redskins 1-8. Their lone win over the New York Giants. It was deflected and picked off. Dan Wilkinson, it was deflected by Kelvin Kinney, and then Wilkinson picked it off, his first interception of the season.
Well, it's a screen pass, and so Bobby Hoyen gives a little pump fake. The defensive lineman come through, that's on him. He's got to loft that ball over Kelvin Kinney. He knows that that end is going to be coming at him unblocked. So Kelvin Kinney makes a nice leap, and Dan Wilkinson shows a little bit of athleticism for a guy that big.
Second career interception for the man they call Big Daddy, the former Cincinnati Bengal. Hicks cuts to the outside, turns the corner, dives, and is stopped just short.
You really have to like the determination of Skip Hicks. There's Big Daddy. I'll tell you what, people have been very critical of him, and I know that they brought in Big Daddy and they brought in Dana Stubblefield, and they figured they were going to control the center of the line of scrimmage. And I think that Dan Wilkinson has done a lot more in holding up his part of that bargain than Dana Stubblefield. If you watch Wilkinson on film, he's really a pretty nice physical presence in there. He's held up pretty well.
Second and goal from the 1-yard line. Green to the end zone through the hands of Stephen Davis.
Now, this is the time, I think, when you need to go to your money guy. And if Michael Westbrook is going to be your money guy, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a guy with unlimited talent. I think when you get into these critical situations, you need to call his number. Because a player of his ilk is not going to make himself into a superstar. He's not even out there right now. He's on the sideline. But he's big, he's physical. He's the kind of guy you just send him into the back of the end zone and put it up.
With Davis leading the way, Skip Hicks into the end zone. Touchdown, Redskins. Third of the season for Skip Hicks.
Then again, you could just punch it in, right? It's a nice surge up front by the Redskins offensive line. Man on a man, they drive the Eagles front line back into the end zone. There's a big hole there for Skip Hicks to shoot right through.
Hicks scoring for the 3rd consecutive game. He did not play in the Redskins' first 6 games. And Harry Blanchard connects on the point after. Dan Wilkinson with the interception, and then Skip Hicks scoring 6.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Ford Taurus. Ford, built to last. By Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. By Domino's, delivering 1 million smiles a day. And by Budweiser, now's the perfect time to enjoy a fresh, cold Beechwood aged Budweiser.
Allen Rawson back deep for the Eagles, along with Corey Walker as Carrie Blanchard approached. Football ball off the tee, so Blanchard will set it up once again. He's the Redskins' 3rd place kicker this season, and they have brought in a 4th. Brett Conway, the former Green Bay Packer, is inactive today, but he may handle kickoffs later this season for the Redskins. And he may get a chance sooner than later as Blanchard kicks this one out of bounds. So the Eagles will start in excellent field position.
Out of bounds. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. First down.
So a short field for the Philadelphia Eagles when we return.
Tight end Steven Alexander making a nice double block on the touchdown. Watch him block the defensive end, and then he comes off and he blocks the safety, Anthony Marshall. There's 1, there's 2, and that's what opens up the lane for Skip Hicks.
And the Eagles start from their own 40-yard line. Charlie Garner, who grew up just outside Washington, D.C. in Fairfax, Virginia. Gains 3 on the play. Doug Brown made the tackle.
And that was actually Mike Sellers who made that block.
On the touchdown.
Yeah, I thought it was Steven Alexander. Mike Sellers, I saw the 85 there at the end. Got to give credit where credit's due.
Sellers, a backup tight end. As we mentioned, Garner now in the backfield for the Eagles. Play fake to Garner. Hoying looking downfield. Incomplete. The intended receiver was Irving Fryer, 36 years of age, 5-time Pro Bowler. Stanley Richard on the coverage.
Well, that's what we talked about the Eagles needing to do. And Bobby Hoying, in order to rebuild himself and rebuild his confidence, which, let's face it, was shattered earlier in the season, he needs to not only complete the short, safe passes he did last week in their victory, but he needs to be able to make these throws here. Now, this is a play-action pass, and Irving Fryer is open downfield. And Hoying needs to make that connection deep in the secondary.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 7. Here comes the blitz. Nice catch by Fryer. Nope, he did not hang on. Even if he did, would have been 2 yards shy of the first down marker.
This is a nice gamble by Mike Nolan. He puts the blitz on, and Darrell Green knows he's got some inside help with Irving Fryer. So he bites on the fake to the outside. Fryer open, but again, the ball not delivered where it needs to be.
Ryan Mitchell, one of the best, is back deep. Tom Hutton angling it towards the sidelines, and Mitchell brings it back out across the 20 to the 22-yard line. 43-yard punt by Hutton, 8 yards on the return. Anthony Marshall made the stop. Well, tonight, after a new World's Funniest, Homer's gone hippie on a far-out new Simpsons. Then make a date at the drive-in on a brand-new That 70s show. Plus, it's the second all-new X-Files episode of the season. It all starts tonight at 7, 6 Central, right here on Fox. Are you ready for the X-Files?
Yeah, X-Files is just disbanded, though, so it's kind of like a renegade X-Files.
The 22-yard line. Skip Hicks up the middle, wrapped up by the second-year man out of the University of Virginia, John Harris, after a gain of 3.
And that was a nice play by John Harris, too. He was blocked to the outside. He came right back to the inside and made a play. You know, John Harris, I really think epitomizes a lot of the things that have gone wrong in Philadelphia, and that is that they've had these first-round picks, these high-round picks, that have either not developed at all or that have taken an inordinate amount of time to develop. Of course, Ray Rhodes believed in John Harris as an athlete. You have to understand it takes time to develop.
Green on second down, incomplete. He was looking for Westbrook.
And he had it. That's what you mean when you say Westbrook can be as good as he wants to be. When the ball is delivered there like that, he's got to make that catch. Yeah, he's got the speed and the strength, and he battles to get open, and he does a nice job. You've got to make this catch. There it is. It's a nice ball by Trent Green.
Westbrook had 3 100-yard games earlier this season, but then 2 weeks ago, missed the practice. Did not make a phone connection with North Turner. Was suspended and fined, and then did not play last week, although he was in uniform. On 3rd and 7, Green is taken down. 3rd sack of the first quarter by the Eagles, the combination of Bill Johnson and Hugh Douglas.
Trent Green is going to have to get mobile and skate around and get out of the way.
And that does it for the first quarter from Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. A 7-0 lead for the Redskins. We'll return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Back for the start of the second quarter from Raljohn, Maryland. Matt Turk punting from his own 5-yard line. And it takes a huge Redskins bounce all the way down to the 19. Alan Rossum did not field it. A 66-yard punt by Turk. 3 shy of his career long.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Toyota. Get the most out of your day every day. By Burger King. If you ask us, it just tastes better. By Texaco, a world of energy. And by Nike.
Officially a 67-yard punt by Matt Turk. The Eagles start out deep in their own territory. Charlie Garner on first down works his way to the 25-yard line, a gain of 6. Ken Harvey made the stop.
Well, that was one of the few times that I've seen the Redskins defense not in an 8-man front. Because until this point in time in the game, they've been employing an 8-man front, and they've really stifled the Eagles' running game. There it is, 8-man front. They've had 8 of them, and the Eagles have only averaged 1.6 yards a carry.
2nd and 4. Point 2 of 5 on the day. Steps up, can't find anyone, and is taken down by Kennard Lang in his 2nd NFL season from Miami.
Well, Mike Nolan, the Redskins defensive coordinator, is guessing right, because this time instead of an 8-man, they play a 7-man front. They've got this cover 2 back here, and what it does is it covers up Bobby Hoying's receivers. You stop it right there, you see that he's got absolutely no one open. So this really here is a coverage sack. Don't want to take anything away from Kennard Lang, but Mike Nolan is guessing correctly.
Only the 16th sack in 10 games by the Redskins defense. Hoying to the tight end, Jason Dunn, celebrating his 25th birthday today. Has the first down and more. A gain of 14. And Derek Smith, Redskin linebacker, is shaken up.
Well, he looks like he's okay. And Kenny, you know, one of the things Bill Musgrave is doing that I like is he's taking Hoying and he runs him here on a bootleg. He's taking players and using their strength. Bobby Hoying can throw on the run. And so what do you do when your guy can throw on the run? You don't drop him back and sit him in the pocket. You run a bootleg like that last play, guess what? First down.
And on first down, here's Garner, gains 3 yards. Ken Harvey, again, making the tackle.
You know, Bill Musgrave brought in as an offensive quality control coach and really kind of a quiet guy. But he kind of sat around and guys would ask him, hey, what about this? What about that? And I think the other coaches and the other players liked the answers he was giving. He takes a very simplistic approach to the game. I think that's what Bobby Hoying needs more than anything. A simplistic approach, playing on his strengths to rebuild his confidence.
2nd and 7, quick drop, and the pass complete. Jeff Graham has another Eagles first down in Redskins territory, a gain of 12.
Yeah, and, you know, talking about Bill Musgrave and building on players' strengths and asking them to do things that they can do. mean, Jeff Graham is not going to beat Chris Dishman racing down the sideline on a 9 route, on a go route. But what he can do is run a little crossing route there, get underneath the coverage, turn around, make the catch, and pick up a nice little gain. That's taking a player's strengths, what he can do, and asking him just to do those things.
Charlie Garner runs into a wall of Redskins.
Wow, and you know what? That wall was Big Daddy Wilkinson. I think it was a wall of red skin.
It's a big wall.
He's enough to be a wall all by himself, because he busts through the line of scrimmage there, and Garner just runs right into him.
They list Wilkinson at 6'5", 313. His interception led to the only points of the game so far. Hoying takes the reverse and is taken down by Ken Harvey.
Another big play for the Redskins defense. And Ken Harvey comes on a little bit of a stunt. Here's Harvey. He comes right up the center. Here he is, actually. Comes right up the center on a stunt to the inside. And what happens when you're coming on a stunt, he doesn't see the fake reverse because he's getting there late. And so when you don't see the fake reverse, it looks like it's an easy sack. And that's what it is. If Harvey's rushing straight and he sees the reverse, he bites on it, and Hoying gets to pass the ball.
3 wide receivers, 3rd and 21. Hoying over the top to the rookie tight end from Syracuse, Kasim Cincino, but not nearly enough. He needed 21, and he gained 12. So the Eagles will be forced to punt. Brian Mitchell, a huge game last week, 276 combined yards in the game against the Cardinals.
I think he's the best thing about this Redskins team right now.
Hutton keeps it away from Mitchell into the end zone and rolls. 45-yard punt, 25 net, as the Redskins will start from their own 20-yard line. 7-0 lead for the Washington Redskins on a beautiful November afternoon in Raljon. You ever been to Raljon before, sir?
No, first time, but I say I love the field. Beautiful grass field. They had the Navy Notre Dame game here yesterday. You'd never know anyone played.
Terrific job by the grounds crew. Play action on first down. Green airing it out, and it was nearly picked off by Michael Zordich. Leslie Shepard was the intended receiver.
Now, what the Redskins are doing on this one is saying, hey, we will throw some deep balls. But that's all they're doing. Because, again, Trent Green's strength is his efficiency and his quick release. It's not throwing a deep ball down here. And Leslie Shepard's strength is not his blazing deep speed. And the Eagles have got this thing all covered up. Michael Zordich almost comes down with his head.
Trent Green only one of his last 5. Keeps it on the ground, and Skip Hicks lost the football. It's recovered by William Thomas, but Hicks was down. They ruled Hicks down.
Wow, that's a terrible break for the Eagles defense. Hugh Douglas made a great play on that. You think of Hugh Douglas and you think of a guy who's rushing the passer. We've seen him do that all day. Watch him here, he's working on Brad Badger. He comes outside Badger, and then he comes outside Jenkins, the tight end, and just gives Hicks a little shoestring tackle. But the ground did fall that way.
Leading to a 3rd and 12. 3 wide receivers lined up to the right. Green dumps it off. Brian Mitchell. And he's caught from behind. A nice play by Al Wallace. So the Redskins will be forced to punt.
You know, one thing, whenever I look at a defense, and the Philadelphia Eagles defense has been pretty stout this season, despite their record. I look at a defense and I measure their heart by the way their defensive linemen run to the ball. And on that last play, you saw Al Wallace making the tackle. You saw Bill Johnson was the guy who turned it back. Those guys were rushing the passer, and they came back to make the play.
Alan Rawson back deep. Kirk with a 67-yard punt the last time. Rawson from the 23. Cuts it back. Still on his feet. And is upended at the 40-yard line by Darrell Pounds. A 53-yard punt by Turk. 17 on the return. On Fox as John Daly anchors the American team against a strong European contingent that includes former Masters champion Nick Faldo, Ian Woosnam, and Colin Montgomery. First down from the 40. Play action. And Hoying to Jason Dunn, his third reception of the game.
It's that same bootleg pass that we talked about earlier. Bill Musgrave realizing, again, Bobby Hoying can throw on the run. So let's get him outside and let him make a play. What Hoying did on that last play, though, he was looking deep, and Dunn was wide open. He didn't throw it to Dunn right away because he was looking for the deeper receiver in the pattern.
Hoying's numbers today. Second down and 3 from the Eagles' 47. Deuce Staley with the fullback, Kevin Turner leading the way. Stopped by Ken Harvey about a yard shy of the first down.
And I know the Eagles have worried about their predictability. And again, Mike Nolan seems to know exactly what they're going to do before they do it. You see this guy right here? That's Lamont Evans. Now what he does is he comes up, he builds an 8-man front, right? So you've got 8 defenders, you've got only 7 blockers, and then Lamont Evans is right there to make the tackle and to shut down the run. The Redskins defense has done a great job of shutting down Philadelphia's run game today. They've done it most times with 8 men.
Graham in motion, 3rd and 1. Hoying throws, and it's incomplete. The intended receiver was Kasim Cincino.
Now Hoying actually does a pretty decent job on this, and it's decent because they come with the blitz right up the center. There's Lamont Evans again. So he's up there as a safety. He can either build and be an 8th man in the run game, or he comes on the blitz if it's a pass.
Ryan Mitchell in single safety. Tommy Hutton back at his own 33-yard line. Stephen Davis nearly got a piece of it. Mitchell taken down after a short return, only 1 yard. Corey Walker made the stop. A 36-yard punt by Hutton. Just under 7 minutes remaining, second quarter from Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. Washington Redskins 7-0 over the Philadelphia Eagles. Frank Green started the season. He started the NFL from the 16-yard line. Skip Hicks, and he was met immediately by Brandon Whiting.
Well, the Redskins offense has been able to move the ball, but the only time they were able to score was off of this defensive play where Calvin Kinney tips the ball. Dan Wilkinson comes down with the interception, and that put the Skins offense into this position here where Skip Hicks was able to punch it in from real close to the goal line. Norm Turner's offense, again, able to move the ball around a little bit today. The only time they were able to score was when their defense made the big play.
Green looking for Stephen Alexander, and again, he was unable to hang on to it.
Yeah, now Stephen Alexander is out there not because of his blocking capabilities. He's not an incredibly powerful guy. He's an athletic guy, and he's out there because he's supposed to be catching the ball. And that's the second one we've seen him drop. And when you're struggling and you're 1-8 and you're trying to increase your offense's efficiency, you can't have this kind of play. Now, I know he's a young guy, and I know the ball's a little low, but again, that's a catch he's got to make.
And the Redskins like going for the tight end. Jamie Anster, who's out for the rest of the season, was tied for the team lead in receptions coming into the game today. Green pump fakes, hit, lost the football. Eagles say they have it. No indication as of yet. Al Wallace put the hit on Trent Green. And the Eagles have recovered.
Well, that's the second time Trent Green's put the ball on the ground. This time he loses it. And it's the Eagles defense turn to make a play. It's Al Wallace. He's coming around. Troy Drake just gets under his pads, comes right around. You see Trent Green in the midst of his pump fake. So the pump fake, you know, it's good to draw the secondary off, the coverage, but it also leaves the ball vulnerable to this shot by Al Wallace.
Wallace also sacked Green, forced a fumble the previous game these teams played back in October. First and goal for the Eagles. Staley down to the 6-yard line.
Now this Eagles offense needs to score because you're waiting and you're kind of slugging around. They really haven't done much at all so far today. They haven't been able to run the ball the way they wanted to. They've tried for the deeper pass. That hasn't worked. The only thing that's worked for them is a short, safe passing. Now your defense puts you in the red zone. You've got to score.
Now turnover the first by the Redskins in 3 games. Eagles have been in the red zone fewer than any other team in the NFL this year.
There's the bootleg.
Hoying's throw caught by Jason Dunn, but Stanley Richard stopped him 2 yards shy of the goal line.
That's still a good play for the Eagles. And they're going to keep running this play until the Redskins shut it down. No, he doesn't get into the end zone, but it's a big pickup. Again, Hoying just spins around here. He fakes the handoff, and he's running wide open. Can he throw on the run? Yes, we know he can. We've seen it do it 2 times and now 3 times already today.
And now the Eagles call timeout with 3rd and goal from the 2 upcoming.
You know, you think nothing of it. You think, well, Jason Dunn just catches the ball. But we've seen guys out here today, Michael Westbrook, Steven Alexander, guys who get the ball in their hands and not catching.
And Jason Dunn with a career best 4 receptions today.
Yeah, and that's incredible when you think about how few times the Eagles have thrown the ball to the tight end this season.
Well, coming up next here on Fox, Emmitt Smith and the Dallas Cowboys meet the Arizona Cardinals with first place on the line. Some of you will see the Green Bay Packers and the New York Giants.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the Cowboys-Cardinals. You know, Cowboys are a team, they're an old dog, but they still got some teeth. And then with the Cardinals, Jake Plummer is a headliner. He's a marquee guy that can take over any game. Hey, last week he took over the game against this Redskins defense and won it late in the game. At one point in time, had 13 straight completions. Redskins red zone defense, worst in the NFL. See if the Eagles can capitalize.
3rd and goal. Hoying, chase, lobs one, incomplete. Hugh Staley wanted a penalty flag. Bobby Hoying still looking for his first touchdown throw of the season.
It was nice coverage by Derek Smith in the end zone, and it was great pressure by Marcus Patton coming on the blitz and forcing Hoying to scramble to his left.
Chris Boniol has scored only 27 points, fewest by any kicker in the NFL this year. 19-yard attempt. He's hit his last 64 from 35 and under. Extends that streak. And the Eagles are on the scoreboard. But a good job by the Redskins defense holding Philadelphia to just 3.
Well, and I talked about how the Redskins were hurt by Jake Plummer last week. But on this play here, this last play, hey, it's 3rd down. It's critical. Hoying is forced to scramble, and it's really Derek Smith staying with his coverage that prevents that play from being a touchdown. If Derek Smith comes off of Deuce Staley and tries to go after the quarterback, Staley's wide open in the end zone, but he doesn't. It's nice discipline by Derek Smith. See him here? There he is. He stays right on him.
Smith, the teammate of Jake the Snake Plummer
right.
at Arizona State, and he had a big game last week at Sun Devil Stadium with 13 tackles and a forced fumble.
Avid deer hunter. Said he was going out yesterday. Every chance he gets, he's out in the woods. I like guys like that.
You wanted to go with him.
I would have been nice. We had a little bit of work to do, but That's a good play. I mean, this is a beautiful area here. And you look around, they're in the midst of this fall thing. That happened from upstate New York. That happened to me a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. But here it's beautiful. Hey, you get a nice sunny day, get out in the woods, you can forget about the fact that you're 1-8.
So today, Derek Smith has some other duties to worry about. Brian Mitchell along with James Thrash. Back deep, a short kick. It's Mitchell from the 13. And he's taken down, a penalty marker, taken down at the 30-yard line by backup wide receiver Dietrich Gels. A 19-yard return by Mitchell. It's against the Redskins.
Of course, everyone in Washington talking about Patrice Alexander and North Turner.
Illegal block in the back, above the waist, number 69 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Second penalty of the day committed by Rod Milstead.
Yep.
You mentioned Patrice Alexander cut after his penalty on the opening kickoff last week, which Mitchell had returned for a touchdown.
Yeah. Now this one here, Rod Milstead at least was getting his holding call or his illegal block at the point of attack. See, watch it right here in the upper left. There's Milstead. So he gets the hold, but it's also his hold that is trying to spring Brian Mitchell.
Skip Hicks. And he is met by Brandon Whiting, who's been very active in the first half today. Skip Hicks off to a big start earlier with a 28-yard run. His father, Charles, was his high school coach.
That's right. He said sometimes his dad was hard on him, and he regretted that he was his coach, but looking back, one of the best things for him.
Second and 10. Green, under pressure, throws it away.
Boy, Trent Green got stuck on that play. The Redskins are having some trouble with their protection, and they're going to have to shore it up. I think Troy Drake is struggling a little bit at that right tackle position because you're going to see Al. No, it's Hugh Douglas comes from one side. Greg Jefferson comes from the other. So Hugh Douglas having a big day on Brad Badger.
He already has 1.5 sacks.
Yeah, and Al Wallace going at Troy Drake on the other side. And there's Russ Grimm. He said to him, it's a game, it's a challenge, even though he's not playing, to figure out how to get his guys to protect Trent Green.
On 3rd and 10, Green throws, and it's broken up. Beautiful play by Tim McTire.
And once again, I mean, the Redskins are going to have to figure out how to keep Trent Green free from pressure. Here's Hugh Douglas working on Brad Badger. Again, Badger's a guard. Douglas does a nice job of changing it up. He gets up underneath Badger's pads, and then he just sloughs him off to the side and keeps coming.
Hugh, the NFC Defensive Player of the Month for October. Alan Rossum waiting at his own 30-yard line. Good punt by Turk. Forcing Rossum all the way back to the 20. Returns to 10 yards. And then it's stopped by Brian Mitchell. 60-yard punt by Turk. Well, Tim, Tuesday on Fox, 9 angry men decide the fate of one mower on an all-new King of the Hill, and then a world record bee eater will amaze you when Chris Collinsworth, who we hope will not be eating bees, hosts an all-new Guinness. It all starts at 8, 7 Central on Fox Tuesday. Have to stay away from those bees. On first down, Charlie Garner works his way to the 35-yard line. Ken Harvey made the tackle after a gain of 5.
And this is what I think the Eagles need to do. Remember how we talked about the 8-man front versus the 7-man front? Well, that time the Redskins were in the 7-man front, and I think that Bobby Hoying is going to need to go to the line of scrimmage and then decide on the play. And if he sees 7, I think they have to check to a run. If he sees 8, I think they have to go for the pass. This right here looks like a 7-man front.
Second and 5. He looks for the pass. And Irving Fryer unable to hang on to it. Darrell Green on the coverage.
You know, Irving Fryer has had a lot of drop catches this year, and he certainly has not had his best year, and he's not in sync. Now, this pass here is thrown behind Irving Fryer. So, again, we see Hoying trying to stretch the field and not doing it with great accuracy. But everyone expects Irving Fryer to make those kind of catches. That's what he's done ever since he's come to Philadelphia. Besides this season, Irving Fryer would make a catch if you threw it at his shoelaces or if you threw it 3 feet above his head.
3rd and 5, and the catch is made by Charlie Garner for a first down, wrapped up by Leamon Evans, a gain of 9.
It's almost a breath of a sigh of relief for the Eagles to finally get something going a little bit on the offense. The run game hasn't been working. The deep pass has not worked at all. And again, we see it's this short dump off to a running back. It's the only thing they're really having success with.
First down, play fake, and Hoying's pass is caught at the near sideline by Russell Copeland for a gain of 9 yards. Copeland's first catch of the day.
I'll tell you, on this last play, the Eagles' offensive line does a really nice job of giving Hoying all the time that he needs. Not only time and a pocket, but a nice wide throwing lane for him to get this ball downfield. But you still see this is a deeper pass pattern to Copeland. You still saw the ball was thrown low. So Hoying not showing the accuracy that he needs to show in the deep pass downfield.
And we have hit the 2-minute warning. Just outside Washington, D.C. The Redskins lead 7-3. Eagles from the Redskins 47. And the catch is made on the near sideline by Irving Fryer, his first reception of the day.
And it was a nice pass by Hoying, and again, Hoying is on the move. And I think that the Eagles have found something here. Because when Hoying is running, he's throwing with much greater accuracy. Here's Irving Fryer, just makes the break to the outside. That's tough duty for Derek Smith, the linebacker, to come out there and try to catch up with Irving Fryer. There's Hoying. Again, it's not a big dash, it's not the bootleg. It's just a little bit to get his body going and let him throw the ball.
First down from the Redskins 43. Quick drop, and the pass is caught. A good one-handed catch by Charlie Garner.
That was a nice catch. And that's what you need. You know, you can't have these guys in these underneath passes dropping those balls. This time, Hoying straight drop back. I hate to say it, but it's not that accurate of a pass. It's kind of an ugly duck. And it's only Garner's great athleticism that even brings that thing down.
We spoke to Garner yesterday, grew up in Fairfax, Virginia. He was a Cowboys fan. Hoying has completed his last 4. Now making 5. Pass attempts again. It's Garner. And Charlie Garner, a native of the Washington area, has had some big games against the Redskins. 3 of his 5 100-yard games have been against Washington. You check out his numbers against the Skins and against the rest of the NFL.
Yeah, it's more than 3.5 times better against the Redskins. That's because he's either playing here with his family in the stands, like this Terry Bradshaw was talking about in the pregame, or he knows they're going to be able to see it on TV.
Here's Garner. His mom's not here. She's at home cooking. Charlie's taking some food back to Philadelphia.
He needed to be a little more stoked up to pick up that first down, but I would imagine with the clock where it is that the Eagles are going to try to go for it.
Eagles have used their second timeout. 4th down upcoming. 4th and about 2. Well, Tim, coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB along with Terry, Howie, and Chris will bring you scores and highlights from around the National Football League. And our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report.
You talk about Bobby Hoying having to make that next step. You see that he's made some progress already. Last week, 97 total yards. Today, he's got 93 already. Although I still say most of those are the shorter, safer passes. We've yet to see him make that that deep pass, that deep completion downfield. The longest pass so far of the day was a 15-yard completion.
Eagles 0 for 1 on 4th downs today. Solomon in motion. Poying, rolling right. Takes it himself. He's close. Let's see where they mark it.
I like that play, though. You know, put him on the run, give him the option. If the pass is wide open, if you think you can get it, go get it.
There is the official spot.
He's going to be close. It looks short from here, doesn't it?
Here come the chains. It is short. As you see both coaches react. So for the second time today, the Redskins defense has stopped the Eagles on 4th down. A Redskins defense which coming into the game allowed the most points in the NFL, but they've held the lowest scoring team, the Eagles, to a field goal.
Yeah, and not only have they done that, they're really responsible, the Redskins defense, for the 7 points that the Redskins have today.
The inside handoff to Brian. He can make things happen. Has the first down.
He can. And sometimes giving the ball to Brian Mitchell is almost as good as a pass play.
Gain of 13 yards. Redskins in the hurry-up offense. 3 wide receivers. They have 3 timeouts remaining, and Green was nearly picked off by William Thomas.
Now there's a guy you got to watch out for as a quarterback, because William Thomas is an exceptional athlete, and he has the ability to find in that underneath coverage, to find where the quarterback's going to throw the ball. Here's William Thomas here. Watch him sneak right underneath this route. He's reading Trent Green's eyes, and look at that. He gets right underneath that route, almost picks it off.
Redskins broke 71 yards on their first 2 drives. And Mitchell with another big chunk of yardage to the Eagles, 37. Tim McTire finally made the stop. Redskins called timeout, a gain of 16.
I said Brian Mitchell was almost as good as a pass play. He's better than a pass play. Just a little handoff here to Mitchell. You get the defensive lineman coming upfield. It's a nice trap block by Rod Milstead. And he springs Mitchell right up the center of that field. Watch the block. Look at Milstead. See big Milstead there? He just kind of eats up the inside tackle, provides a nice hole, and then what you do is you send your receivers to the outside to spread the defensive backs, open it up for Brian Mitchell, let him do his thing.
Ray Rhodes told us yesterday he expected Mitchell to have at least 20 touches today, including returns, 2 carries, 29 yards.
I said a little bit earlier, I think Brian Mitchell is probably the highlight of this Redskins team.
Good first half on the ground for the Redskins. From the 37, Michael Westbrook and a penalty flag. Bobby Taylor.
Does Bobby Taylor look flustered at all? No, you can't be that way. You can't be flustered when you get that penalty.
Number 21 defense. First down.
Bobby Taylor is a physical player. Here he is. He's pressed right up there on Michael Westbrook, but he's in a press bail. So he makes it look like a press. He bails out, and that's a pretty bad call. If anything, Michael Westbrook pushed Bobby Taylor. I don't know where they got that call from.
3 wide receivers out of the shotgun. Green hands it off to Mitchell, who gains 7 more yards.
Wow, he's got great acceleration, doesn't he? What a weapon, you know, because you're in this 2-minute zone. Everybody's thinking pass, and what that does to the defensive lineman, it gets them moving upfield. makes the job easy for these big hogs up front because all they have to do is take a side and push. Here it is. Watch this hole open up. There it is.
And the Redskins have called their second timeout. With the line of scrimmage, the Eagles 9.
Boy, now you look back to that Eagles failure to make it on 4th down and Bobby Hoying coming up short, and that's the kind of thing that'll have Ray Rhodes blowing a gasket in the locker room at halftime. 3 big runs this drive by Brian Mitchell, plus the pass interference penalty against Taylor. Yeah, the bad call on that pass interference. 2nd and 3 from the 9. And Green pass is caught by Leslie Shepard, spins, and is stopped just short. Stopped inside the 1-yard line, but he did pick up the first down, and the Redskins call timeout. They stop the clock with 29 seconds remaining. Wow, outstanding effort by Leslie Shepard. But watch the protection that Trent Green gets. Watch Troy Drake come off and recover. He's beat initially. Watch him recover here. And he just gets a little bit of a tap on Greg Jefferson to keep Trent Green safe. And then look at that effort by Leslie Shepard. Again, small things that tell you a team is just continuing to go and never give up. And Westbrook makes a beautiful block there to try to help his teammate downfield. Look at Westbrook right here. Wham, gets Caldwell. Bam, knocks him off. It's effort. These guys have not stopped. They have not quit. That's saying something when you're 1-8. And Leslie Shepard, of course, went to school in Philadelphia at Temple University. Yeah. That kind of block, that's the kind of selfless play that Norv Turner wants to see from Westbrook every day, every play. 1st and goal, Green to the end zone. Incomplete. Michael Zordich knocked it away from Stephen Davis. No, Michael Zordich is not a guy that you can fool. 9 times out of 10, you run this play action pass, you fake the run here, and your strong safety is going to bite on it. Now Michael Zordich. Offside, number 35, defense. Lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty will be assessed half the distance of the goal. The second pass first down. Stephen Davis is dropped in the end zone, though. Yeah, Zordich did not get a piece of it. Off the fingertips of Davis. Following the penalty, half the distance, Redskins gain about 2 inches. But they do remain 1st and goal. There's 25 seconds remaining in the half. Skip Hicks has his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. When things are going right for Norv Turner and his offense, this is the kind of thing you'll see. The shifting, the motion, to spread the defense out, make them think it's a pass, and then run it right up the pipe. Gary Blanchard to attempt the point after. And the Redskins lead is now 14-3. Look at all this shifting here. There's the shift. The defense is spread out because of it. There's a nice hole there for Skip Hicks. Look at, see these guys out here? Look how spread the defense is to the play side. And Hicks with his 4th touchdown in 3 games. He's UCLA's all-time touchdown leader with 55. And the Redskins drove 66 yards in just over a minute, led by the running of Brian Mitchell. Running of Brian Mitchell, but also the pass interference penalty on Bobby Taylor. And a good block by Michael Westbrook as well. So Skip Hicks with both Redskin touchdowns. .36 yards for Brian Mitchell on the drive.
So an Eagles offense, which has averaged only 9.9 points per game this season, with an uphill battle in the second half.
I'm talking with Michael Zordich yesterday. He said they've had to change their whole defensive mentality. Normally, when you're a defensive player in the NFL, you say, if we can hold the team below 21 points, we should win. But the Eagles have had to change that to 9 points, 7 points.
They held the Lions to 9 last week and won the game. Allen Rossum. Good return by Rossum to the 33-yard line. Antoine Pons made the stop. A 37-yard return by the rookie out of Notre Dame. Next week on Fox NFL Sunday, 2 division rivals clash. Tim, you and I will be at Giant Stadium for the Eagles and the Giants. Some of you will see the Redskins take on the Cardinals, the Packers and the Vikings, and then at 4, the Carolina Panthers and the St. Louis Rams. 17 seconds remaining, and the Eagles will run out the clock. But a good first half for the Washington Redskins. They lead Ray Rhodes Eagles by 11. And these are halftime reporters next after this. And a word from your local Fox station.
Punch-in touchdown. And again, this is the one that was set up by Kelvin Kinney's tip, Dan Wilkinson's interception. Here's the Redskins defensive line holding Hoying on 4th down. Ultimately, Hicks gets right into the end zone again after, again, Brian Mitchell moving the ball down the field for the Redskins. Also should mention on that drive right before the end of the half, there was what I thought was a very poor pass interference call against Eagles cornerback Bobby Taylor when he was covering Michael Westbrook.
The Redskins will kick it off to begin this second half. Third quarters have not been kind to either club this year. Redskins have been outscored 80-20 in the third quarter. Eagles have been outscored 60-7. They scored only 1 third quarter touchdown all season long. As Blanchard's kick is fielded by Rossum at the 8-yard line. And he's upended at the 27 by Antoine Pons after a 19-yard return as we take a look at the first half numbers.
And the thing that jumps out at you right away, we talked about it on the internet question, is the Eagles' run game has really been shut down by that Redskins defense. Redskins, on the other hand, enjoying a pretty strong run game between Brian Mitchell and Skip Hicks. If you look at the passing yards, you think, well, the Redskins have done nothing. They only have 35 net yards passing, because the Eagles defense has come up with 4 big sacks.
And the Eagles start from their own 27-yard line. Carter up the middle for a gain of 5.
Well, Kenny, besides reestablishing the run, I know the Eagles have that short passing game working, but I really think that Bobby Hoying has got to be able to stretch the field, stretch the defense, and get that ball downfield a little more effectively. If you look at it, you see that his big success has come in these short passes and then the passes straight down the middle of the field. Out here on the perimeters is where he has not had success. I think he's going to need to find that in the second half.
And Hoying lobs one, intended for the tight end, Kasim Cincino, incomplete. Ken Harvey on the coverage.
And you know, a lot of times you look at that and you say, well, it's not a good pass by Hoying, it's not a good thing by Kasim, but really it was the coverage by Ken Harvey that made that thing happen. Because Harvey was all over the tight end, and that's what forced Bobby Hoying to put that ball just out of Kasim's reach.
So a 3rd and 5 for the Eagles on their opening drive of the second half, trailing 14-3. Graham, the man in motion. Hoying took a hard hit from Kennard Lang, and the pass fell incomplete.
Well, when you're trying to rebuild the confidence of your quarterback, this is the last thing you want to do. Eagles offensive line, I think, confused a little bit on this play because here comes the blitz. Marcus Patton coming on the blitz, and so the guard pulls off, and Steve Everett, the center, goes towards to pick up the blitz, and that's what lets the guy right through.
In our line.
Thank you.
Brian Mitchell from the 31, and he is met immediately by Anthony Marshall. A good special teams play by Marshall. 38-yard punt and a 5-yard return.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volvo. Volvo reminds you to drive safely.
First and 10 for the Redskins. Skip Hicks takes the handoff from Trent Green and is wrapped up by James Willis.
And Michael Zordich in on that play. I think probably Emmett Thomas, the Eagles defensive coordinator, at halftime said, look, we've got to stop the run game because the Redskins ran 82 yards in the first half on the ground. So what he did is he put Zordich up on the line of scrimmage. You know how we've seen Leamont Evans for the Redskins play up on the line? That time Zordich was up on the line making the tackle. 8-man front again.
3 wideouts, second and 10. Green's pass is caught by Mitchell, but Al Harris was right there.
And that's a nice play by Al Harris because Trent Green, if you look at him on film, he's had most of his success because of his arm strength throwing these underneath passes. So he's had a lot of success over the past couple of weeks throwing these dump-off passes to Brian Mitchell. And if Brian Mitchell catches that ball, the key is tackle him right away. Don't let him get going in the secondary. You see that Al Harris has drawn just as much threat as Bobby Taylor has.
And Green's pass is broken up. Intended for Albert Connell. Good coverage by the rookie, Allen Rossum.
The Eagles defense showing that they can stop the run with that 8-man front and then stifling the passing game as well.
Redskins go 3 and out. Rossum, one of the reasons why on that defensive stand, that he will now drop back and punts it away. Rossum calls for a fair catch at the 17-yard line. 45-yard punt by Turk. Back to Raljon in a moment.
Back in Raljon, as Kenny said we would be. Washington up 14-3 against the Eagles. A lot of that success coming because the Redskins defense has really shut down the Eagles run game. Rushing average only 2.1 yards per carry. A lot of the reason because almost half the time the Redskins playing that 8-man front.
Eagles only 32 yards on the ground today. And this time a gain of 7 to Staley back in the game for the Eagles. Staley with 89 yards last week against the Lions. Garner gained 129.
And I think that the surprising thing about what the Redskins defense has done from a running standpoint is that they really haven't done it that well all year. They've been beat up on the defensive line. They've got a lot of guys who are backups in there starting.
Staley. This time nowhere to go. Eric Smith in on the tackle.
But as you can see, they've answered the call today. I think coming into this game, the Eagles offensive line felt that looking at that Redskins D-line on film, that there was a group that they could dominate. They could open up some holes because they did so last week against Detroit. Another good run, a good run defense, and they were able to chalk up over 200 yards.
There's Mike Nolan, the Redskins defensive coordinator, facing a 3rd and 1. Andrew Staley picks up the first down as the Eagles get a new set of downs.
They ran that one right over the back of Trey Thomas, the big, and I do mean big, rookie for the Eagles offensive line. 6'7", 350 pounds. A big physical guy whose real strength is in the pass protection. But here you see him getting underneath Calvin Kinney and getting just enough of a block so Staley can pick up that first down. Not a dominant run blocker, but could be.
Out of Florida State, here's Staley once again, big hole, and a penalty marker after Staley gained 9. And it's holding against the Eagles.
Well, what we're seeing is that Ray Rhodes at halftime said, look, we're getting back. I don't care that we're down by 11 points. We're getting back to basics. We've got to be able to run the football.
Holding. Number 71 offense. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Jermaine Mayberry. Take a look at it. Here's Mayberry up here. He's going to be blocking on Big Doug Brown. Well, he does have his arm over the top of Doug Brown's arm. It's interesting, though. Brown was the guy who actually slipped his arm underneath Mayberry.
On 1st and 20, Hoying rolling right. Could not find anyone. And then threw it away. Diving attempt by Irving Fryer.
Well, this is the Redskins' answer to that bootleg play. Because this time they say, okay, next bootleg, Derek Smith, you go hit that thing. You go get the quarterback and force him to throw the ball. We're not going to let Bobby Hoying sit out there and throw that bootleg pass all day. When you see that action, fire on it, go get it.
4 wide receivers. 2nd and 20. The pitch back to Deuce Staley. And Staley is close to the first down.
Wow, that was a nice play by the Eagles. Great blocking, and then you see Staley's speed. Just a toss play. Hoying turns around, he tosses the ball to Staley. I want you to watch the corner. Nice block by Jason Dunn, and then big Richard Cooper comes around, and he gets a block downfield on Chris Dishman. But it's Staley's speed that really makes this thing happen.
A gain of 19 yards on 2nd and 20, setting up 3rd down and 1. Staley is stopped in the backfield by Leamont Evans.
That's just a missed blocking assignment. Redskins start this thing with Big Daddy right here preventing the quarterback sneak. Watch Leamont Evans. He just sneaks through the crack here and comes absolutely unblocked. He wasn't there. Dishman was right behind him.
End over end punt by Hutton. And Mitchell is taken down by Anthony Marshall at the 22-yard line. But another big stand by the Redskins defense.
Eagles offense has been frustrated by a tough short yardage Redskins defense. There on the first 4th down. Here's another play on a critical 3rd down. And then finally on this last play here, Leamont Evans again very active in that 8-man front.
And the Redskins defense with the first half interception, setting up terrific field position, leading to the Redskins' first touchdown of the game by Steve Hicks. And this is Hicks up to the 27-yard line, a gain of 6 yards.
And when you look at the lack of success that the Redskins have had this season, it's amazing when you see how well they've played offensively on first down. One of the best teams in the league on first down, averaging close to 6 yards on every first down play. And usually when you get in that kind of situation, you're golden.
Hicks on 2nd down, and he's thrown to the turf by James Willis.
That's a nice fill by James Willis. And that's what you need. If you're going to stop the run, you've got to be able to fill aggressively. But what Willis does is, well, I want you to watch how he avoids the block of Rod Milstead. Watch it. He comes right in. He lets Milstead clear, and then he fills up into the hole and makes a tackle. That's smart, quick play by Willis.
3rd and 4. 3 wideouts. Green with time and finds his man. This time, Steven Alexander makes the catch for a Redskins first down. He dropped 2 earlier.
Well, it starts out, Kenny, with some great protection. Watch Brad Badger working here on Hugh Douglas. Now, we've seen Hugh Douglas in Trent Green's face all day. Badger this time gives Trent Green the time that he needs, and Trent Green finds his receiver downfield. And as you said, this time, Stephen Alexander hangs on to it.
A gain of 17 yards for the rookie out of Oklahoma.
I imagine he got lit up a little bit at halftime.
Stephen Davis in motion to the outside. Green with the play fake. Again has time. Incomplete. Tight end James Jenkins, the intended receiver, downfield.
Jenkins got downfield, but he didn't quite get into the seam that he needed to. But as you said, Trent Green, again, having time on that play. And again, Brad Badger holding up pretty good against Hugh Douglas on that last play. You see Green there down to the 50% completion level. Typically, he's a little better than that, but typically your tight end's not going to drop 2 out of 3 passes. You get to it.
Green 56% on the season coming in. And Skip Hicks unable to hang on to that one.
Skip Hicks yesterday told us, I said, how's your hands? He said, great. Not good, great. He said at UCLA they would work on those hands all the time. He needs to get back to those UCLA ball drills here. Again, it's that short underneath pass that Trent Green is pretty good with, and the ball's delivered right where it's got to be.
Hicks thought about running before he made the catch. 3rd and 10. 3 wideouts. Green throws it across the field, wide open, Albert Connell. It's a race to the end zone. Touchdown! yards.
Eagles defense gambles with the blitz and they lose miserably. Miserably. And Trent Green told us yesterday, when a team comes at you with the blitz, you've got to burn them deep. Exactly what Trent Green does on this play.
First touchdown of the season for Connell, third of his two-year NFL career. Blanchard with the extra point, 21-3. Redskins, a 56-yard touchdown pass from Green to Connell.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. By Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. By the motor oil that provides maximum protection, Castrol GTX, drive hard. And by the United States Marine Corps, the change is forever.
21-3 Redskins lead. This team has not given up. They lost their first 7 games, but over the last 3 weeks, a victory over the Giants, a near victory in Arizona, and here today they lead 21-3. Allen Rossum across midfield, cut down by the kicker, Harry Blanchard.
That's what the Eagles need to get back in this, is big plays. The kind of big play that Trent Green gave to the Washington Redskins. He talked about the blitz. Here comes the blitz. Here comes a linebacker, a safety from the outside. It's a full blitz here. Watch Trent Green just get this ball off underneath William Thomas's blitz. And there, Albert Connell is absolutely wide open. And when he picks off the ball, he does a smart thing by cutting back across to the opposite side of the field.
52-yard return by Rossum, his longest of the season. Charlie Garner inside the Redskins 40.
You know, with the Eagles offense and what they've had to do and how they tried to reinvent themselves last week by running the football, using the short pass, well, that's well and good, but Bill Musgrave, who's calling the offensive plays today, you see right there, he's got to scrap all that now, because when you're down 18 points, you've got to go to the air. Bobby Hoying is going to have to make some big plays if the Eagles are going to get back in it.
2nd and 6. Penalty flags. Hoying looking for a big play from the tight end Jason Dunn. Incomplete.
Dunn was open, Kenny. Hoying's got to deliver on those deep balls.
And it's against the Redskins.
Offside, number 97, defense. 5-yard penalty remains, second down.
Kelvin Kinney.
Well, Kenny, I mean, it's a nice break for the Eagles to pick up the penalty. But again, I mean, Bobby Hoying's got to make these plays. Watch Jason Dunn. Right down the seam here. You're going to lose him a little bit out of the screen. But watch how far he is open on this play. Look at this. Look at that right there. I mean, that should be a touchdown. Here it is right here. Here's Jason Dunn. Marcus Patton's got the coverage. He's got him beat by 3 yards. Bobby, you've got to make that pass.
Hoying looking for Irving. Fryer. Incomplete. Darrell Green, a couple of perennial Pro Bowlers, matched up against one another.
Kenny, once again, I mean, Irving Fryer's got to slow down. Watch Fryer slow down. You see him coming back to that ball? I mean, Fryer is out in front of Green. Again, you hate to, ride a guy, but he's not making these deep passes. Nice coverage by Darrell Green, but I'm telling you, Fryer had a step on him, maybe because Darrell Green pulled a little something.
Hoying 0 for 4 here in the second half. Garner over the top, and he picks up the Eagles' first down.
A nice effort by Charlie Garner. Now with Darrell Green off to the sideline, it's time to go. I mean, send your receivers downfield. Let's go. Let's make it happen. Darrell Pounds in there, and Chris Dishman. You got to go at Pounds. He's coming off the bench. Go get him.
Down from the Redskins 31. Hoying fires, nearly picked off by Leamon Evans. Fryer again underthrown.
There's not that much more. Now it looks like the Redskins got another defensive back hurt.
Stanley Richard.
You got to keep going to the air. You said it, Kenny. It's another underthrown ball. I mean, Irving Fryer has got Stanley Richard beat. But you have to put that ball over Leamon Evans. You know the free safety's there in the hole. But you know what the Eagles have got to do? They got to go back to it. They've got to stick with Hoying. They've got to keep trying.
2nd and 10. Play fake to Garner. Hoying throws it across the field, and it's incomplete. Looking for Freddie Solomon.
Because what the danger that you've got here is, Bobby Hoying started to get a little confidence back last week. And he got it by throwing those nice short passes. Hey, the run game was working. They won the game. Okay? This second half, he's 0 for 6 because most of those attempts, if not all of them, have been the deep pass. They have to keep going with it. I mean, as ugly as it is right now, as ugly as his passing is, they got to keep trying. Here's some bad news for their passing game. Darrell Green back into the game.
3rd and 10. Here's Staley. Well shy of the first down marker. Chris Dishman along with Ken Harvey forced him out.
Yeah, but that won't do it. But hey, when you're 0 for 6, I guess you go to that short, safe pass again.
And the Eagles will go for it on 4th down for the 3rd time today.
So actually, that short, safe pass, if you're deciding that, hey, we're in a 4-down zone here, that was a pretty good play.
Eagles 0 for 2. That should be 0 for 2 on 3rd down. 0 for 2 today. Crowd on its feet, going back, in trouble, and is taken down.
It's going to be another very close spot for Bobby Hoying. The last 4th down, he took it on the bootleg, tried to run it, came up about a foot short. You may have this one, Kenny.
Ken Harvey made the tackle.
I think he might have it. Nope.
Again, just short.
was a nice job of coverage downfield by the Redskins secondary. They send 4, 5 out into the pattern. If you stop it right there, you see, look at this coverage. I mean, nobody's open. Nobody is open. You know, Bobby Hoying does his best to do what he can. On this particular play, no one gave him any help. And the other ones, these guys were wide open. He's got to hit them.
From the 21, the inside handoff. Stephen Davis taken down by Hugh Douglas.
Hollis Thomas looks like he's hurt. That's a bad sign. He really was coming into his own this season and was really starting to become a force in there on the interior of the line.
And with 4:23 remaining in the third quarter, we'll return in a moment.
Hollis Thomas, defensive tackle for the Eagles, being helped off the field. From that last play, his leg gets rolled up. Here's Thomas right in the middle here. Works right through Corey Raymer, does a nice job, and then you see Trey Johnson, big 77, gets in on his leg.
Thomas replaced by Steve Martin. Skip Hicks to the 27-yard line, a gain of 2. Again, James Willis made the tackle.
And now, of course, what you can expect from the Redskins offense with the lead that they've got is just to try to run this ball out. So the Eagles are going to want to get Hollis Thomas back in there as quickly as they can. Now, 3:06. Now we know for a fact, you know, Hugh Douglas was telling us that that's not true at all. They're constantly on Hollis Thomas. They being the rest of the defensive linemen, saying, "Hey, you got to keep that weight down, buddy."
He comes from a family of chefs.
He learned to eat early.
Green to the outside, and the catch is made by Albert Connell. Wrestled down by Al Harris. A gain of 5. And the Redskins first down.
Darrell Green getting looked at on the sideline.
Bubba Tyre, the Redskins trainer.
Yep. And again, they're going to need Darrell Green because the Eagles are going to have to come out and put that ball up in the air again. You know, despite the fact that Bobby Hoying is struggling with the deep ball, when you're down by 18 points and there's only a quarter left, that's what you have to do.
3 wide receivers. Green pump fakes on first down, looking for Michael Westbrook, overthrown.
Yeah. You know, Trent Green he's a wonderful guy and he's got this nice accuracy inside, but unlike Hoying's not throwing the deep ball because he's off. Trent Green's not throwing the deep ball well because he doesn't have a really powerful arm, but he does a nice job of the pump fake, and that's what springs Michael Westbrook free. But watch this, watch Westbrook. There's the pump fake. And Westbrook separates himself from Bobby Taylor very, very nicely. You know, if you want Westbrook to be a star, yeah, you got to make those kind of plays. He's got to get open, but then you got to get the ball to him.
2nd and 10. Connell in motion. Diving attempt made by Connell.
Yeah, and did you see the missile that was coming at him? Michael Zordich. That's a danger zone in there in the center of the field when Zordich drops back into pass coverage. Last week, I mean, knocked his own guy, Troy Vincent, out, not only out cold, but out for this week as well. Now, this is Zordich's territory. There's Zordich right there. So when you're going to catch a ball in his territory, here he comes. He's a guy who's played long and hard enough so that people know when they catch a ball in his area, 9 times out of 10, he's going to punish him.
3rd and 10. Ryan Mitchell out of the backfield. Has the first down and more. To the Eagles, 43. On 3rd and 10, Mitchell picks up 24.
Well, I'll tell you, Rod Milstead, Corey Raymer, the guard and center for the Redskins, do a nice job of blocking here on this screen pass. These big guys just slip out there. Watch them up front. There's Raymer. He knocks one guy out. Milstead knocks another guy out. And that's really what springs Brian Mitchell for the first down on this play. Nice blocking by these big guys. Look, Milstead took a little turf with him.
A big 3rd down play. Redskins 6 of 13 on third downs today. On the play fake. Pass complete. Nope, incomplete. Leslie Shepard trapped it. Fans not happy about the call.
We'll take a look at it again. A little play action pass here. Boy, that looked like he did catch it.
But the officials said no. So a 2nd and 10 for the Redskins. From the Eagles' 43-yard line, leading 21-3. A pair of touchdown runs for Steve Hicks. And this is Hicks up the middle to the Eagles' 35. William Thomas, along with Bill Johnson, made the stop, a gain of 8 yards.
And I'm afraid that the Eagles' defense is looking a little demoralized. And that happens to you. And when your offense can't get out of its own way, and you're late in the season, you've lost a lot of games, you're down by 18 points, it's just natural. You start to lose your fire. No matter how tough you are and how hard you work, Emmett Thomas right there, the defensive coordinator, I mean, he needs to give these guys something to make a big play, make something happen.
Ryan Mitchell, first down, inside the Eagles' 15-yard line. Anytime the Redskins needed a big play today, they give it to Mitchell. 22 yards on this one.
It's just a short trap play. Watch big Trey Thomas. Watch him pull and make a block right there at the line of scrimmage. Look at him open up that hole at the line of scrimmage. That's beautiful work by Trey Johnson. Wow. Look at that big guy. 77 right there. Man, he smacks Brandon Whiting at the line of scrimmage, and that's really what springs Brian Mitchell.
123 combined yards for Mitchell today, rushing, receiving, and returns. He had 276 last week. Skip Hicks inside the 10.
I tell you, Kenny, Trey Johnson's having some fun. This guy is the one shining star in this offensive line. Watch him come and just smack the outside linebacker Caldwell. Look at it, wham! And just drive, I mean, he drives Caldwell right off his feet, lifts him up.
And that will do it for the third quarter. Redskins leading 21-3. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages. Welcome back to Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. A 21-3 lead for the Washington Redskins over the Philadelphia Eagles. Kenny Albert with Tim Green, and we talked about it earlier. The Redskins defense doing a terrific job today. One of the main reasons the Redskins lead by 18. And Trent Green's pass is short, intended for Stephen Davis.
Well, you're right, Kenny. Although the Redskins have got 21 points, a lot of it came off of big plays that their defense has come up with. A defense that's really struggled all season, especially when it comes to stopping the run game. But they have really stifled the Eagles offensively, their run game today. Now what we're seeing is an Eagles defense that seems to be deflating.
Green out of the shotgun, 3rd and 7. Botched play as Green handed it off to Mitchell, and the Redskins will be forced to settle for a field goal.
You know what I like about this play? I mean, I like it because it's an all-out blitz. I mean, Emmett Thomas just says, hey, nothing to lose. Let's send everybody. Let's make something happen, and they do. And I know the Redskins are still in line here to get a field goal, but hey, at least Emmett Thomas is saying, hey, we're not going to give up. We're not going to fall over and die.
Redskins have used 3 field goal kickers this year. They are only 8 of 15 combined. First in the NFL.
Looks like they missed that. Yep.
No good. Now 8 of 16. Blanchard only 6 for 10. So the Eagles will take over when we return.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Chevy S10, like a rock. By IBM, are you ready for e-business? By First Union, your guide to the financial world. And by UPS, moving at the speed of business.
Well, this is just a shank. You're going to see a nice hold, nice ball placement there. Blanchard just shanks this baby.
The attempt was from 32 yards. He hit from 54 last week in the closing minutes in Arizona. On first down, Hoying's pass is caught by Freddie Solomon, and he's chased down by Marcus Patton after a gain of 8.
Eagles offense wisely in that hurry-up mode.
1 minute gone by, fourth quarter. 2nd and 2. To Staley. Oh,
man.
Ken Harvey with a tremendous hit, but a good second effort by Staley.
Nice effort by Staley, but Harvey's initial hit was just too much to overcome. Wow, did he hit him. Man. Watch Ken Harvey. Just come right in here. Watch the blow he delivers to Staley. Look at that. Wham! Right up under him and spins Staley right around.
Harvey has gone to the last 4 Pro Bowls.
This is where the Eagles have struggled in these short yardage situations.
Hoying fell down.
Jeez.
Feet got tangled.
Man. That's where you want to just stay down and go to sleep. Hope you wake up and the whole thing's just a bad dream. Hoying's foot gets stepped on by his center, Steve Everett. It's either his center or Jermaine Mayberry.
Ryan Mitchell back deep. Good kick by Todd Hutton. Fielded by Mitchell at the 18. Across the 30 to the 33-yard line. 56-yard punt by Hutton. And a 15-yard return by Mitchell. Welcome back to Jack Hancock Stadium, just outside Washington, D.C. 80,000 on hand. Skip Hicks. On their feet, cheering Skip Hicks.
You know what I like about that run right there from Skip Hicks? You get to see all the things that he does well. You know, you get to see him accelerate through the hole initially, and then you get to see him make a cut. Watch him accelerate. The big hole, by the way. He accelerates through. Now you see the cut, and then right at the end of the play, you get to see that he's got a little power as well. Watch him lower the shoulder, and then wham, run somebody over. There it is. Accelerate, cut, run. Now you see somebody, throw a little punishment in. That's what Skip Hicks has. He's got a little bit of everything, and that's what makes him real good.
24-yard pickup. He gained 28 on a run back in the first half. Hicks into the pile. And for an NFL update, let's head to James Brown at the Fox Network Center in Los Angeles.
Kenny, look at Timmy's old team. Falcons all over Steve Young. Tackle him. He fumbles. Second consecutive turnover by Young. Smith has it. No. Tuggle has it. He rolls into the end zone. Both turnovers lead to 14 points. Atlanta once sole possession of the West. Back to Kenny and Tim Green.
Well, thanks, JB. Good to see the Falcons finally back on top of the West.
Wow, a win today,
yeah,
and they would be 8-2.
And they've got it going. I mean, they're the real thing down there because they've got a heck of a quarterback and they've got a real strong running back.
And something both of these teams can point to over the second half of this season and next year. The Falcons last year started 1-7.
Yeah, they did. But again, they had these weapons. You look at Chris Chandler, he's been outstanding for him, and so has Jamal Anderson. Now, each of these teams out here today, yeah, they've both got potential in the run game, but neither of them have a quarterback the caliber of a Chris Chandler. And a lot of people didn't realize how good Chandler was coming into the season. But last season, he was second-rated only to Steve Young.
Injury-prone throughout his career. This season, Chandler has missed only one game. Green under heavy pressure. And he was forced to throw it away.
Yeah, Hugh Douglas was at him again. And one thing that the Eagles have been able to do today is put pressure on Trent Green and really limit the Redskins' passing game. And again, Matt Millen said it in the pregame show, He said, if you don't have a big-time quarterback, you've got nothing. That's so true in the National Football League today. Because the game has become so pass-oriented, you've got to have a quarterback at the helm who can deliver that ball deep downfield for a strike.
Matt Turk's punt is down by the Redskins at the 1-yard line. Tim Denton saved it. A 39-yard punt. Denton, a former World Leaguer with the Rhine Fire, forcing tough field position for the Eagles. 21-3 lead for the Washington Redskins. Fourth quarter. Darrell Green, a bruised left knee. His return today is questionable.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to need him, and that's like saying we'll beat you with one hand tied behind our back.
Replaced by Darrell Pounds, hoying from the end zone. Incomplete. Irving Fryer, the intended receiver.
Terrible. It's terrible. I mean, the time Hoying gets the ball downfield, and Irving Fryer, who really was their best player last season, flat drops right in his hands.
Had that problem throughout the season. Second down from the 1. Hoying over the top, incomplete. This time looking for Freddie Solomon. Leamon Evans on the coverage.
This is a ball Solomon could have caught. And this typifies the Eagles season. Now Hoying's throwing it downfield where he needs to throw it. He's got the time and the protection. Watch this. Hits him right in the hands. Right through his hands. Tried to catch it with his wrists.
Crowd chanting defense. 3rd and 10. Graham in motion. And Horn's pass is picked off by Chris Dishman. It deflected off Russell Copeland, and then Chris Dishman intercepts his first of the year.
Well, it deflects off Copeland, but Stanley Richard gives Copeland a little bit of help. Once again, the pass is there, the catch is catchable. Stanley Richard just drills Russell Copeland and pops that ball right into Chris Dishman's hands. You know, this one is on the Redskins defense. This is just Stanley Richard getting underneath Copeland's pads and drilling him with his shoulder pads. Redskins defense coming up with another big play. Put the icing on the cake for this game. Now you expect Skip Hicks, right?
First and goal from the 1. Hicks moving backwards. Redskins this year, Tim, first 9 games coming into play today, had 2 interceptions. 2. They have 2 today.
Yeah, their defense has done a nice job. They've had some great short yardage stands, 2 fourth down conversions that they, got right back. Some third and ones. We've seen a lot of 3rd and 1s where they made the Eagles punt the ball. And we've seen these turnovers. And Mike Nolan, all of a sudden, everything gets a little easier and a little nicer.
Second and goal from the 5. Hicks looking for number 3. He's got it.
Skip Hicks has got some stuff. Long, hard day for Skip Hicks. You look at his jersey and you see the dirt and the grime. Starts to take this up. Look at this. Beautiful break to the outside. A great show of speed and determination to get that ball into the end zone. This play is meant to go right behind Big Trey Johnson. But Hicks sees the inside defense. He doesn't like what he sees, and he uses his speed to get the corner. Gary
Blanchard adds the extra point. Skip Hicks, 3 touchdowns. First Redskin to do so since Terry Allen back in 1996. Skip Hicks, who did not play in the Redskins' first 6 games, has scored 3 touchdowns today, 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
I love it when history majors do well in the NFL.
He's creating history today.
Oh, yeah. Said if it wasn't history, it would have been mathematics.
He's putting up some big numbers today.
If I can lob any more softballs your way.
Alan Rossum out across the 30, a 17-yard return. And coming up next here on Fox, Tim, the Arizona Cardinals in a first-place battle with the Dallas Cowboys. And the Green Bay Packers will look to get back on track at the Meadowlands.
I'm with Terry Bradshaw. I think the Cardinals can pull off an upset. It seems to be a day of realignment. First sellout in Arizona since 1995. Now Dallas has won 15 out of the last 16. And Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin have both dominated against Arizona, but that was the kind of thing that happened to the Falcons against the Niners, and you see that thing is turned around today. Falcons with a 24-12 lead as last we checked. And so I think maybe it is. It's a time for a realignment in the league, and I think Jake Plummer is the guy to lead Arizona to that top position. And then if you say Arizona, they're in the playoffs, and then the guys from the Redskins, Corey Raymer sitting there on the sideline, they say, wait, we could have beaten Arizona.
4th sack of the day for the Redskins. They came in with only 15. Ken Harvey.
Yeah, second one for Ken Harvey. And all we've seen him do today is play great football. We've seen him dominate in the run game. We saw him almost take Deuce Staley off of his feet. And now you see him here with the pass rush. Comes right around the corner, right around Trey Thomas. Beats him clean.
8 of the Redskins' 19 sacks this year have come in the 2 games against the Eagles. 3rd down and 8. 4 wide receivers. And Hoying's pass intended for Freddie Solomon. And once again, the Eagles will punt it away. Redskins with their highest output of the season scoring-wise with 28 points. Big day for Brian Mitchell. Skip Hicks, 3 touchdown runs. Low snap. Gets it off. It's a good one. Mitchell forced all the way back to the 13 and then loses a couple. Jeremiah Trotter, the rookie linebacker from Stephen F. Austin. And right now for an NFL update, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Kenny and Tim, take a look at San Francisco trying to come back. Young under pressure, up in the pocket, connects with Terrell Owens, breaks loose. The Atlanta DBs cancel themselves out. Look at Owens. He gives them a case of the dirty chicken himself. Atlanta now trailing by 12. That was under 8 to play. Back to Kenny and Tim.
I don't know about the dirty chicken, JB. It looked like he beheaded the chicken. There you see the NFC West. Falcons right there looking to make that shift, that change of places with the 49ers. And then, hey, New Orleans is still in the thing. Terry Collins leading the way in their win today, or apparent win today, against the St. Louis Rams.
Big lead for the Saints, so they will make it 5-5. The NFC, the last 2 wild card spots wide open at this point.
It was a great graphic that they had on the pregame show where, JB said, well, what do all these teams have in common? You see teams like the Bears and the Rams, the Saints. He says they're all within 1 game of a playoff spot.
Redskins fell just short of postseason play each of the last 2 years. Only 1 victory this year, looking to make it 2. Hicks cuts to the outside, forced out of bounds by Bobby Taylor. Skip Hicks closing in on the century mark, 94 yards today, including 3 touchdowns.
Well, the first 2, Kenny, were just short pops right into the end zone. Nice blocking up front. I like the 3rd one. That's the one that's the ball he's going to want to save, because instead of taking it up the hole, He breaks it to the outside, uses a little speed, a little bounce, a little determination to get that one. And there's Trey Johnson. He's done a lot of blocking in front of Skip Hicks. Skip just 6 away from the 100-yard mark.
Green on the play fake. Number 3 for Steven Alexander.
Well, Steven Alexander is awfully lucky that the Redskins have won this game, because I believe that's the 4th pass that's gone his way, and he's only caught 1 of them. You know, so that's what winning does for you. You know, winning just takes the stink off of every bad play you have, because everybody's laughing and joking. Nobody cares that much about it. And the coaches will care about it.
He's caught 2 of 5.
I'm sorry, caught 2 of 5.
Caught 1 early. Only 40%. Turk from the end zone. Freddie Solomon, fair catch at midfield. And a penalty marker. 39-yard punt by Turk. And it's against the Redskins.
An eligible member of the kicking team downfield prior to the punt, number 54. Penalty is refused. First down.
Kenny, the Eagles bringing Coy Detmer in off the bench. Get a little play time at the end of a game that is obviously out of reach.
Detmer has played in 2 games this season. He had a tremendous preseason. He led the Eagles on 4 of their 5 touchdown drives. And he's the brother of former Eagles quarterback, current 49er, Ty Detmer. Charlie Garner has the first down inside the Redskins 40.
Well, it was interesting to hear Ray Rhodes talk about Coy Detmer yesterday, and he said, you know, when you have a 3rd quarterback, what he needs to be more than anything is smart. He needs to be able to learn the offense, learn the plays, learn the pass patterns by watching, and that takes quite a bit of brains. It's a lot easier to learn when you can do it in practice.
Garner again, big hole. Detmer out of the University of Colorado. He's the number 3 quarterback. Rodney Peete still out with the right index finger laceration. And Rhodes talked about how the 3rd quarterback has to be a smart guy. He's sending the plays in at times with certain teams. And a former number 3 quarterback, there's Peete. One of the Eagles' former number 3 quarterbacks, Jay Fiedler, who nearly started the game for the Vikings today. Detmer pump fakes again, and is taken down, lost the football. It's still loose. And it looks like Kevin Turner recovered.
I think Trey Thomas got it, but Kennard Lang knocked that ball right out of Detmer's hands. Kennard Lang does a nice job here. Here he is right in the center of the screen, and he just drives Jermaine Mayberry right back into Detmer and gets his hand right on that ball. Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any uglier, it did.
Sack number 5 for the Redskins. Garner. Oh, he takes a hit.
Is that Kennard Lang again? I don't know who it was.
Well, for Ray Rhodes and the Philadelphia Eagles, a trip up to New York next week. Eagles in the midst of a 3-game road trip, but they took the train down to Washington, and they'll take a bus up to the Meadowlands next week.
They're trying to do anything they can to break that 12 and now 13-game winless skid on the road.
Charlie Garner inside the Redskins 20 to the 17. Tim Denton wrestled him down, including the playoffs. Coming into this game 0-12-1 since a victory over former Eagles head coach Rich Kotite with the New York Jets on the road back in December of '96. And Ray Rhodes has changed the travel throughout the course of the season, different routines to try and turn the luck around on the road, but so far this season it has not worked.
If you look at both of these teams, you see that both have gone throughout a season with a lot of turnovers, and both have gone throughout the season with an unsettled quarterback position.
Detmer complete to Garner, out of bounds at the 10-yard line. A pickup of 8. Clock stops with 3:12 remaining. Tim, down in Atlanta, you played on teams with similar records to the Redskins and the Eagles. As a player, what did you do to remain sane in this situation?
I think you do what Derek Smith does. You take your off day and you get out in the woods.
I know
try
that's
to
what you
forget
did.
about it. Yeah, and then what you do is when you're there at practice, you work as hard as you just keep working. And you try to block it out of your mind and you say, all right, we lost that one. Now let's go win the next one. But when you see the kind of stuff that's going on here with the Eagles today, it's so disheartening for them because they really did take a nice step forward last week against Detroit. They got their run game going offensively. It looked like Bobby Hoying was starting to revitalize himself, but unfortunately for Bobby today, he took a big step backward. They tried to expand his role a little bit, move that passing game downfield, and that was an absolute failure today. Some of it was his fault, not throwing the ball well, and then the times when he did throw the ball well, guys dropped it.
3rd and 2. Marcus Patton got a hand on it. Not much going right for the Eagles offense today.
9 first downs, 2 turnovers, 7 3 and outs. Bill Musgrave, again, the guy calling the plays, trying to right the ship.
Another 4th down. Eagles 0 for 3 today on 4th down. And this is sack. No, Detmer tossed it back to Jason Dunn. Nearly became sack number 6. Jason Dunn took the flip from Detmer, but the Eagles lose it on downs.
The pressure comes from the right side. You see Kennard Lang gets cut, comes right back up, and Derek Smith is there as well. And what that is a remnant of the bootleg, and their answer to the bootleg. Koy Detmer rolling out the way Bobby Hoying did, kind of successfully today, and Derek Smith instructed to fire. If that quarterback rolls out of the pocket, you go get him.
So the Redskins take over from their own 15, under 3 minutes remaining, trying to get Skip Hicks over 100. Hollis Thomas out with a sprained right ankle. Suffered earlier this half. Eagles call timeout. Stop the clock with 2:44 remaining. Skip Hicks, Tim, 2 yards shy of 100. 25 carries, 98 yards, including 2 big runs of 28 and 24.
And then when you're talking about the Redskins run game, Kenny, you have to remember Brian Mitchell and the great job he did right before halftime when the Redskins were in their 2-minute offense, working that ball all the way down the field. Redskins now with 156 yards on the ground.
Coming up, Dallas Cowboys, Arizona Cardinals from Sun Devil Stadium. Some of you will see the Green Bay Packers coming off their Monday night loss in Pittsburgh as they meet the New York Giants. Giants a disappointing 3-6. Hicks loses 4 yards on the play, so he is back down to 94.
You see the NFC East standings. The Giants were another team that were in that, they were in that group where JB was talking in the pregame. He said only 1 game out of playoff contention, which seems unbelievable. And I know a lot of people look at that and say, well, they look at today's game against Green Bay and say it's a loss, but I don't think anybody's looking at Green Bay, anybody in the league looking at Green Bay now and saying, well, we're definitely going to lose that one, or that's one we probably won't win. Green Bay, with the absolute absence of a run game on offense, has really struggled.
Should the Giants beat the Packers today, they would be 4-6, and they play the Eagles next week at home.
Yeah, so then they're thinking, hey, we're right in the midst of it.
And for the Philadelphia Eagles, they will drop to 2 up and 8 down for the Redskins. 3 pretty good ones in a row after an 0-7 start. A win over the Giants 2 weeks ago. Lost to Arizona last week. In the final seconds, Mike Caldwell on the deflection. And today, a victory over the Philadelphia Eagles.
You'll have to wonder, with the Redskins today, with this win today, with them beating the Giants 2 weeks ago, playing Arizona toe-to-toe last week, you wonder, can they get this thing turned around, the momentum turned around enough to save Norv Turner's job? A lot of that will depend on what happens with the sale of the team.
Kirk's punt out of bounds. So the Eagles will take over with 2:27 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Well, Tim, tonight, after a new World's Funniest, Homer's Gone Hippie on a far-out new Simpsons. Then make a date at the drive-in on a brand-new That 70s Show, plus the second all-new X-Files episode of the season. It all starts tonight at 7, 6 Central, right here on Fox. It will be an enjoyable Sunday evening for the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, imagine they'll all be home watching the X-Files. Trey Johnson there, Corey Raymer. These guys did a real nice job today opening up some holes for Skip Hicks. Ryan Mitchell struggled a bit with the pass pro.
Corey Walker, his first carry of the game, 4th carry of the season, 2nd year out of Arkansas State. He missed last year with a knee injury. And a penalty flag on the play. Trent Green will pick up his 2nd win of the season in 8 starts.
He did what he had to.
Illegal block in the back above the waist. Number 81 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat. First down.
Trent Green, originally an 8th-round draft pick of San Diego back in '93. He was the 222nd player selected out of 224. 3 more picks, and he would not have been drafted. And after 1 year in San Diego, spent some time out of football. His wife took a job selling furniture. Trent went up to Canada for a couple of weeks and then signed with the Redskins and watched 63 games from the sidelines until getting his shot.
He's going to give you a good day's work. And he's not going to light it up and make the spectacular John Elway and Brett Favre type throws. But what he's going to do is give you some pretty mistake-free football, play nice ball control, deliver on those shorter passes. I wouldn't be surprised, though, before this season's over to see Gus Frerotte back. Because as we've seen today, sooner or later, a quarterback in this league has got to put the ball downfield, and only Frerotte has that arm.
Redskins, thanks to 3 Skip Hicks rushing touchdowns, lead the Eagles 28-3, and Detmer is picked off by Chris Dishman. Dishman's 2nd interception of the game and the season, and the Redskins with 1 more interception today than they had in their first 9 games combined.
Well, we said earlier that more than anything has been responsible for the Redskins' illness this season. Coming into this game 1-8, minus 14 on the turnover ratio. Today, plus 3 on that. Again, it's that deep ball, it's that deep passing game that every team wants, every team needs. The Eagles don't have it. Dishman takes advantage of it, comes up with another pick.
And Dishman returned it 48 yards.
Look at that. You know what I love? I love the smile and the joy that you see on a guy's face. And you talk about, well, records and losing and all that, but you know, when you win, it takes that all away.
2 picks for Dishman. All smiles on the Redskins sideline. Terrific job by our entire crew this afternoon. Our producer, Rich Russo, director, Peter Bleckner. The pregame show produced by Scott Ackerson and Bob Levy. Our technical director, Kevin McRoby. Associate director, Larry Lancaster. Broadcast associate Robert Slosby. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. And the executive producers of Fox Sports, Ed Gorin and David Hill. Crunching the numbers here in Raljon, Barry Hockhauser with Ben Boma, Mike Eldridge, and Mark Cole. And a terrific job as well by Steve Baldwin, Gene Matthews, Jay Clark, and Mike Address. This will be the Redskins' biggest win over the Eagles in 12 years since a 41-14 win at RFK Stadium in 1986.
I think the thing that stands out in my mind more than anything today was the job that the Redskins offensive line did opening up holes for Skip Hicks. 152 yards on the day. And there's Russ Grimm, former Hog himself, one of the original members of that group. And he had these guys working here today and doing a nice job. Bunch of injuries, bunch of new guys. And somehow, some way, he's able to get something out of them. And today that paid off.
So the Redskins and the Eagles, both 2-8 Redskins, meet the Giants next week, while the Redskins will host the Arizona Cardinals here at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. So the final score today, the Redskins 28 and the Philadelphia Eagles 3. For Tim Green, Kenny Albert saying so long.